I look around, I see many people that are living in the marketplace. Okay? So, we are coming together here. We are not coming, I suppose you didn't come from the monastery, or you didn't come from the caves around San Francisco, or you didn't fly in from the Himalayas. So we are, I suppose, otherwise you wouldn't sit here, but I'm certainly interested, what is a contemporary spiritual practice that is radical enough to not just improve our lives, but it's radical enough to really wake us up, but wake us up in a way that is possible that it's possible to live a life within society and still have a radical practice that is strong enough to cut through our habits of thousands and thousands of years of human evolution. So, what I experience is that many people that are interested in spirituality, they come to events because either there are some questions where we do not find answers, there are areas in our life that are problematic, and we don't know how to deal with them. We are looking for healing, or we are looking simply to improve our life. So this is a certain motivation to look for awakening. And then either this will lead to the fact, or there are some people that are driven by something much, much deeper than that. There are some people that have an urge to wake up, and they are not interested if their life will be better or worse. So what I want to talk about tonight is how do we create a contemporary spiritual practice, a trans-rational mystical path that is not attached to the traditional form of mystical understanding and awakening, that often rejects innovation or scientific insights and stays in a way in a pre-modern state, but at the same time that we are not loosening up the radicality of the traditions in order to make them more suitable to our lives today, which often happens. So how do we do that without the trap of the Far East imports that are actually designed for a monastic life? So what we have seen in the spiritual traditions or in the spiritual movements in our time, contemporary spiritual movements, is that there is a difference if we practice a spiritual practice that is designed for a life in a monastery and we import it into the marketplace, and then we practice it. It might be that we will suffer from severe side effects. And the side effects are that we are less and less able to live our life here. We need more and more time out to be out, but we still don't make the decision to go fully out. You know? Then you hear people that say everything is too fast, everything is too loud, everything is too something, which often is a sign that we are practicing a spiritual practice that is not designed for the place where we live. So in the mystical understanding of awakening, we know very well that there are some spiritual practices that need a certain safe environment, and when we practice it, it takes us very much up in this direction. And it's very good if we have the environment for it. But for a practice, I think that most of the people that sit in here are interested in, we need to practice a spiritual practice that goes up and down and left and right and there at the same time. And that's different. And I have seen people that are suffering a lot from the side effects of a spiritual practice that is not made for the circumstances of their lives. And so I'm very much interested, what helps us if we really want to create a sustainable culture? And I believe the only sustainable culture is one that is an update of itself moment to moment to moment to moment again. So how can we create this? We can create this form of new we only if we are an update of ourselves moment to moment to moment to moment again. So how do I become an update of myself? What does it mean, an update of myself? So to create a healthy culture means that I need to first, or often it's first, I need to go down and look into my basement and look why I'm not able to really see life. Because everything that's not integrated in my own energy, in my own experience, in my own levels of development up to today, I cannot see in you. It's not possible. Everything that is unintegrated in my own development is a filter in front of my eyes. So the filter in front of your eyes and the filter in front of my eyes, there is a gap between us. The relation is not complete. So I don't see you really, and you don't see me really. And in the gap in between, this is a wonderful place for conflicts. Because I think I'm right, you think you're right. And then in between, we have a good conflict. Which is okay, but there is a higher possibility. So first, we need to have a practice that has a downward movement. So, and what we developed in the last 10 years is a kind of a method, or is a way of practice that we call transparent communication. And transparent communication doesn't mean that it's transparent because I share everything with you. But transparent means that I have a thesis that says that everybody who sits in this room tonight, and everybody who walks on this planet, and every other being in the universe, radiates the whole information to its existence, happily, every moment, into its surrounding.
Say that again.
It's on the recording. I said, every human, you, I didn't see who asked the question, but you, radiate, you broadcast the whole information of your life, meaning the whole past and the whole future, all the questions that you asked, that you are asking, and that you will be asking, into this room. This is what I call the book of life. This is the book of life. The great mystics, or the great saints and sages of all times, there were people that were traveling half the planet, even before we had planes, to find these people. And why they did this effort is because these were people that gave levels of answers that nobody else could give. And it's not because they were so clever, maybe also, but because they had access to a much deeper level of information than many other people did in their times when they were living. So where does this come from? Why is it possible to give an answer that is really an answer? What is an answer to a question? An answer to a question, once a question is answered, it will not come up again. And why? Because within our human consciousness, the questions that we ask, they are all symptoms of separation. All the questions that we ask, Because on one place within our being, the question and the answer is not two. When they arise on the surface of my mind, they are already two. There's a question, and somewhere there is an answer, which I often don't see. But the fact that I don't see it doesn't mean that there is a place within my being where they are not two. So the fundamental answer to a question is not a rational answer, because if I give you a rational answer, it's maybe beautiful, but you can be sure that your question will appear on a higher level again. And you will ask this question most probably again, just from a different understanding. So we can give answers on different levels of development, or they become essential. And what does it mean? Essential means that I'm not living anymore in the world of consequences. I'm living in the creation of reality itself. When I speak from creation itself. It was even written in the Bible, and the word says light. What it means is that I'm not talking about light, but when I say light, there is light. That's a difference. So you meet some people that talk about life, and you meet a few people that talk out of life. And you can feel the difference. When somebody talks out of life, it's always interesting. Why it's interesting? Because it has energy. It is creating what it says right now. And it's essential. So everything that creates is essential. And I think how you can know this is if you remember your most creative moments. Remember one moment that was really creative, even the last time, or if it didn't happen recently, in the past. How did this moment feel to you? Was it boring or was it exciting? Was it uplifting or did it pull you down? Maybe afterwards, but when it happened. So what is the physiology? What is the composition of a creative moment? If you just ask yourself this question. How does a creative moment feel? Let's hear some.
Alive.
Alive?
Without mind.
Without mind? Fresh? Exciting?
Bigger than me.
Bigger than me, timeless? Inspiring? Present? Sounds like a good thing to me. And how much of your time in your life you feel like this? So the question is, why does not your life most of the time feel like this?